Right, hello everyone. Hope you're all right. I hope you're all being super creative at home. I'm sure you all are. So today I'm going to set you a task and show you how to develop some ideas to push forward with your personal investigation ideas. I know that this is a hard area for you to actually get started and make a choice, as you're all over the place with what to do. So today is all about design idea generation, good and bad. It doesn't matter about whether they're good ideas or bad ideas, just that you get started. Okay, so obviously we're going to start with a mind map. Okay, it's the easiest thing to do. It just gets you going, and remember, anything goes. It doesn't really matter what you do at this stage, because it's just literally getting what's in your brain boom out on the page. So you do need a starting point, and you have got your themes that start you off. So I chose, because I like natural forms and nature, I've decided upon remains as the theme that I'm going to be working with to start with, just because that's personal to me. And remember what we said about things being personal. The examiners do like to see that you feel about, that you've got a feeling about things, and things are personal. It will sustain your interest if it's personal. Okay, so there you go. It's written the word remains. Now the first things that pop into my head when I'm thinking about that are things that are left over, rubbish. You know, you're just scrapping around, bins, and it can be quite literal. Okay, you can develop a more deep meaning later on, but just literally you're just dumping all those things that are in your brain right the way down. Okay, so I've got bins, rubbish, I've got building rubble. Those are the things that are just jumping in my mind. Food left over, scraps, clothes, the remains of a life. Okay, now obviously I'm not going to sit here and do this all in front of you, because this would be sort of agonising for both of us. So what I'm going to do is, I've got one that I did, here's one I made earlier, right? So I did this yesterday, and the good thing about looking back at this, there's quite a bit here. The good thing about looking back at this is, with a fresh pair of eyes, the day later, I could get a different pen if I wanted to, I can start adding other things. Okay, so I know that because I've done this lesson for you, I've gone off in a direction of beauty in decay. Okay, so I'm looking at, again, I like the flower idea, I like the cycle of life idea. So I'm going to pursue that. So from this word remains, I went all over the place. Okay, I went all over the place. I had different ways of thinking about the word. I started off with literal translations, such as leftovers and relics, and the actual definition. So up here I looked to get me going. I got the definition, and the definition of remains is the parts left over after the other parts have been removed, used or destroyed. So the word destroyed popped into my head, and I went on an interesting tangent here. Architecture, relics, because it said relic in the definition in the dictionary. So I went to sort of relics, things left over, architecture, the destruction of relics, and I remembered that a couple of years ago the Taliban were destroying Christian relics, and beautiful artifacts were destroyed in Syria, and it reminded me that did happen years ago, when, with Oliver Cromwell. When the Reformation was happening, he destroyed a lot of Catholic relics, and cathedrals and frescoes were destroyed. Okay, so I thought I went on up there, and then there was an artist that I remember called Tamam Azza. I think his name was Tamam Azza, and he came from Syria, and he's part of his observations were his experience of being in Syria. So I've got all these different angles that I've gone off on. Okay, civilization, what remains of a civilization after famine and war? So it's getting quite deep now. Okay, now if I sat down, and wrote more, I could probably come up with piles more ideas from this the day after. So this could grow and grow and grow and really get some depth and have maturity to it, and then it could go in a direction that I really like. So I chose the cycle of life, trees, plants, beauty and decay, then biology, microbiology, illness, cancer, all that. Okay, so I decided, right, we need to actually get some visuals now and get going. So obviously my theme was beauty and decay, so I thought, right, let's just write these down. So these were my favourites of things to explore from that big mind map there. Mould, rust, cycle of life, beauty and decay, flowers, animals, trees. Then I kind of was quite taken with war, what was left over when bodies were left in, you know, in unmarked graves in a field after, you know, a terrible battle. And we've got war graves and what's left over in your mind and your memories. But the reason I've written that down is to show you, if I start doing this and jumping all over the place, in an exam situation, I'm going to get really bogged down and it's going to be too much. So be decisive, stop messing about. I won't do that, okay? That's something I liked, but I'll leave it alone for now. This is my favourite. Let's pursue this and get more in depth. We're not jumping around. So now we need some visuals, and this is the easy bit, this is the fun bit. You just do some searches, okay? So I did a visual search. I went straight into Google and just typed in decay, and I got all these like images that weren't really a bit gruesome. Teeth decay, obviously, but then I got these things that I kind of liked that are going along my theme, so I put a little kind of cross on these so I remind myself, and I can start annotating them. I could cut them out, put them down and do a further, more in-depth annotation based on these, okay? I did further searches, so that's just quite straightforward. That was just decay, and I thought, well, I quite like decaying flowers, so I put that in, and lo and behold, I've got some really interesting images that I'm personally interested in. Some of you might think they're too nice, they're too colourful, I don't know, they might not, but I think I like them, right? Now I've got to analyse why I like them. I've got to take these images a little bit deeper, and that'll be another lesson another time, okay? But now I've got my starting points. I'm really quite taken with these, and this was a Google search, okay? Now with the Google search, obviously the way I've searched it, it's showing me, it's helping me reference all these people. So I've got, this is billykidd.com. He's a photographer, or she. Then we've got the floral art of Azuma Makoto. So I quite like that, and I might want to explore that, okay? So these are 2 points here that are already jumping out at me. Where's he gone? Up here and this, okay? So I'm quite liking this. And I'll pursue that a bit later on. This is quite nice as well. But again, I'm not sure if that's, I'm a bit unsure about that. It might be a little bit too refined. Then we can do, when I say refined, I mean sort of like fine art painting. I'm more interested in the actual decay of it. That one doesn't look like there's too much decay going on. These look like they could be quite ugly. So Instagram. So again, you can type in the same thing. You get tons of images. Just take the first 18. I think we typed in debris there and remains. Okay, and this is what I got for remains. Okay, the thing about this is it's just images, images, images. It hasn't given me the reference. I'd need to dig a bit deeper there, okay? You can also look on Pinterest. They give you the references as well, okay, obviously. So if I do a search there, I put botanical illustration because I quite like that. And if, where's my search? If I put flowers in decay, that's what I was searching earlier, look. I'm getting some interesting images, and I think this might be Billy Kidd again. Now I screenshotted them, and then I can print them off, okay? Or I can save them, or I can zoom in and just print off the ones I want. And this is quite interesting, look, that one. So I'm finding things that I like. There's Billy Kidd again. I'm finding things that I like. I can make my own little page now, my little Pinterest page out of this, that helps me with my starting point. So just remember, let's just get started. Ideas all over the place. Don't be precious about what you're writing, okay? And then do some search engines, some visual search. Look at some visual search engines so that you can actually print off and write and annotate and start working on your ideas and your themes, okay? Now that didn't take me long. That took me about half an hour for this and this together, okay? And this is what I've got. So I've got tons of work I've got tons of resource material to work from now. So that's your thing, that's your task for this week. Do that, do this, and I'll see you next week, and we'll see what we're doing next. Okay, we'll be looking at the personal study next week. See you. Bye.